Hey designers, and welcome back. Today we will be working on this patriotic DIY, so stick around. This DIY is super easy for everyone, even beginners, and all of the products come from Dollar Tree. You will need a foam core board, 2 bottles of Mod Podge, a foam paintbrush, scissors, and 2 of the scarves from Dollar Tree that look like the American flag. To begin our project, we're going to place the Mod Podge directly onto the foam core board. We're going to move that around into place with the little foam paintbrush that we have. We only want to work about halfway across, working about 1/4 section at a time. This will keep our glue from drying too quickly. You'll notice that I'm only using 4 rows of those stars, and as you're going along, make sure that you keep them as straight as possible. Move your fabric around while the glue is still wet to make sure that everything stays in a line. Peel back the next layer, making sure to keep it off of the layer underneath it because that fabric is very thin and the glue does go right through. Again, work smoothing your fabric as you go, removing all the air bubbles and keeping it as straight as possible. Now it's time to go ahead and add that second scarf right to that seam. The perfect thing would be if these stars aligned the way they should, but unfortunately they don't. If you have a good pair of fabric scissors, then the optimal thing would be to go ahead and cut that fabric to make sure that your stars overlap just a little bit, aligning more perfectly. I, however, did not take that option. Instead, I'm just aligning them the best that I can, ensuring that I keep everything else nice and straight. Weighting down the bottom half of that star, I'm going to flip back the top half and begin laying down the Mod Podge. You'll notice that I'm working very carefully around that seam edge because I don't want any roll up underneath that top scarf. I want it to be just as flat as possible, making that seam utterly disappear. Making sure that you pull that fabric nice and taut. Make sure everything is very, very straight. Take a little bit of that Mod Podge now and go over the top of that seam. Don't worry that it looks a little bit white there because it will dry clear. Now we can just continue placing down this second scarf just like we did the first one, working in small sections at a time. Once both scarves are nicely in place, it is time to place the Mod Podge directly over the seam. You can also place it over the entire piece if you'd like. Wait 30 minutes for it to dry and then we'll begin on the back. Before we can glue down the back, we need to trim these scarves. I have left about 1 to 1.5 inches around the entire edge. We're going to work on the corners first. The idea is to fold them over to look a little bit like hospital corners. Take a little bit of your Mod Podge and flip that up to the diagonal. Once that is set in place, we can work on the other 3 corners, making sure that all of those are laying flat before we proceed. It is very important not to skip this step because we do want our piece to look nice and tailored with very smooth corners. Now we can begin with the Mod Podge against the smallest area first. Don't forget the little side edges as well. We're going to simply fold that over, pulling it nice and tight, especially around the corner pieces, and keep rubbing until you move out all of the air bubbles. It's also a good time to trim away all of your excess strings and keep working all the way around until we get back to our beginning spot. To ensure that our fabric doesn't lift over time, it's important to put a little bit of Mod Podge directly over the top of that fabric. And you'll notice that it's starting to curl just a little bit in the middle, so place something heavy and allow 30 minutes for it to dry. And there you have it, a very fun and patriotic DIY that's easy enough. Everyone can do it, even if you've never done a DIY before. This is perfect for the special holidays that are soon approaching, or appropriate to even leave up all year long. You can stand it up as I have done, or even lay it on its side so that it more closely resembles a flag, whatever your heart's desire. I want to thank all of you so very much for watching, and I want to remind you, you were created for purpose, so go be all you can be. I'll see you soon.